Welcome to Medicated Babbling with Janet Thomas, the rants, the laughs, and the tiny baby steps that get us through chronic illness. And quick disclaimer before we get started, I am not a health practitioner of any kind. I'm a person with chronic illness and opinions. Now let's get started. So one thing I am learning about myself with this whole podcast thing, since I kind of have to make my thoughts cohesive instead of just babbling with my friends, is, I think I have mixed feelings on just about everything. I would not make a good TV pundit. I'd be like, I can see your point. And I can see your point. Okay, this is not exciting TV. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, of all the things that I have mixed feelings of, which apparently is everything, and that includes cancel culture, that includes the cancel culture that's going on right now. Speaking of summarizing, I've been trying to find a quick way to summarize my thoughts on that, because this is not a podcast on cancel culture. Yeah, the closest I've come to is that I totally agree society needs some serious change, and shit people, probably including me, have been getting away with, knowingly or not, it doesn't matter, it all needs to be addressed. So, hooray. But what I don't like is that it's stopping dialogue. I mean, if we don't talk about things and educate each other, like, the change is just going to take longer to happen. So, I don't know. Anyway, there's nuance that is not going to be summed up in 2 sentences, and, but I don't like that it's stopping people from talking to each other about tough subjects. Okay. That being said, though, I want to use the power of cancel culture for good. Can we harness these things? A tool could be used for good or evil. Well, cancel culture, good or evil, let's go. And I really, really, really want to cancel the word lazy. Can we please just cancel the word lazy? Because I'm starting to be convinced that lazy doesn't really exist. I mean, if it does, it's the exception rather than the rule. I mean, with what we're learning about neurodiversity and mental illness, society has changed, but growing up, every little thing would be seen as lazy and a moral failing and a giant character flaw. You're not motivated? You're lazy. No focus? Lazy. Sleeping in? Lazy. Like, so many ways to be a bad person. And it was all lies. And I mean, I think the people that said it, I mean, they weren't really lying. They meant it and believed it. But, I mean, it just seems all wrong now. I mean, no motivation. Can't get out of bed. How about maybe the biology of being a teenager because circadian rhythms are all goofy then? Or plain old depression? I can see how it looks lazy, but I mean, anytime I've been depressed or talked to anyone else that has depression, we are working our asses off to do, like, anything, the bare minimum, the basics, it feels like climbing Mount Everest and all you did was get out of bed. And I mean, maybe you can't get out of bed because you're just exhausted. I mean, chronic illness is exhausting. Naps are not as much fun when they're like a necessity to function and not just, a nice little rest. Anyway, what if you can't focus? How about maybe you're neurodivergent and not everybody's brain works the same way? How about learning how their brain works, or your brain works if it's the evil voice inside your head calling you lazy? I don't know. But how to figure out how to work with the way your brain works instead of expecting you or everyone else to do the exact same thing the exact same way. I mean, there's lots of big talk about diversity, and then everybody's supposed to be exactly the same at the same time. I don't know. Again, I hope that's changing, because that was the message I got growing up. Diversity's great, just don't be different. Excuse me? Anyway, again, that's not the topic for today. Topic is lazy. I'm not trying to diagnose everyone who has ever been labeled lazy with something, but I do think people with things like ADHD or anxiety or whatever, they get labeled as lazy a lot. And I mean, it could just be so damaging. So many people are trying and working so hard and are being called lazy. And it can get to you as an adult, but at least you have some space to tell people to go fuck themselves. But I mean, as a kid, especially when it's repeated to them over and over in school or at home, it's just so harmful. There are so many invisible reasons, not excuses, reasons, that look like laziness from the outside. Like I said, chronic illness, ADHD, depression, just regular old burnout. I mean, the list is endless. Laziness is a judgment call. We are making heaps of assumptions when we are calling someone lazy. And if anything, it's lazy to call someone lazy. It's easy to do. I mean, if you're gonna figure out what's really going on, it takes curiosity and time and effort to dig a little deeper and go past the surface layer. It's so much easier, or lazier, depending on who's talking, to just say, you are lazy. But yeah, calling somebody lazy means they've already judged your level of ability. I mean, yeah, I just have so many problems with that. I mean, most of us have no idea what other people are going through, physically, emotionally, or mentally. I mean, they could be going through a divorce. Their dog could have just died. Or maybe they have a chronic illness. So many chronic illnesses are invisible, no one would know just looking at us. And I know when I'm having a good day and I'm out and about, I pass for healthy. But I mean, it's just all smoke and mirrors. And so many people are obsessed with being productive and not being lazy that they never take a break. Chronic illness or not, we need to rest and time to decompress. Vacations are a thing for a reason. I know we can't always take them for a variety of reasons, but doesn't matter. They're a thing for a reason. We can't do all the things all the time. I mean, maybe you're zoning out every night watching movies because you're tired, not because you're lazy. I mean, I totally zone out into YouTube or whatever when I'm not doing well. And there comes a point when I'm clicking around. I can't settle on a video. And I'm what's going on? Why can't I settle down and watch? Oh, wait, it's because I'm bored. And that means my brain has finally kicked in and now it's ready to handle something more taxing. But before that, strangely satisfying videos were the most my brain could handle. Like I said, I just want to cancel lazy. We all need to stop judging others and ourselves as lazy, because as far as I can see, more often than not, it's not a thing. So yes, please, can we please cancel lazy? And just to wrap up for this month, we're going to do our little dash of happy. In the spirit of we all need a break sometime, I think I'm going to use just the simple joy of taking a walk as a nice break and as a nice little dash of happy during any day when I'm well enough to go out and take a walk. Walks are a good way for me to take a mental break or do a quick reset of my brain and also get some physical activity in. But, it's also heat waves are starting to happen and that means I don't get out as much. So I did record a couple walks before the heat hit and fingers crossed those recordings worked and came out because I'm living on the edge. I haven't even listened to them yet. But the plan is I'm going to edit them together, do a little walking city walk soundscape thing. There's some daytime, there's some nighttime. It's lots of fun. Anyway, normally I'd put something like that at the end of this episode, but I think I'm going to change it up a little. Fingers crossed the recordings work and there will be a little mini episode of that next month. And if not, I'm going to take a break next month, so there won't be one. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a surprise. Look at me doing self-care. That's about it. Please subscribe. There's no schedules because migraines do whatever they do whenever they want to. And so please subscribe so that way it just downloads in your app automatically. I try to release once a month, usually near the end of the month because, procrastination. Rate and review because there's algorithms. Social media, you can pretty much find me anywhere on Medicated Babbling. Except for Twitter, it's mbabbling because it was too long. And that's all the podcasting stuff for me as a person. There's JT Art and stuff. I'm mostly active on Instagram and now Twitch, apparently. I stream now. I've been doing some crocheting on stream, which is fun. Thanks to Fresh Kills for the intro and outro music. As always, link in the show notes for him. Yeah, if you've been listening, thank you. And don't forget you matter, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay, bye.
1, 2, 3, 4, get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, get it. 4, get it.
But anytime I've been impressed, I've been depressed. Yeah, naps are not so much fun when they're a necessity. We are making heaps of lazy, reclaiming lazy, canceling lazy. Apparently I can't make up my mind.